Hello, ZmanTheVegan here today. I will be challenging everybody who dislikes that vegan teacher.
Don't like vegan food? I don't give a rat's ass if you don't like vegan food. This isn't about, but I don't give a fuck if you don't like vegan food. Just eat the fucking food and shut.
Whoa, alright. She's very harsh, and I, for the record, totally disagree with her approach. Find it not constructive at all, disrespectful, and it pretty much just provokes mediators into attacking her most of the time, rather than actually having like a respectful, constructive conversation about the issues. So that's what I would like to do here. I would like to respectfully challenge people who have responded to that vegan teacher. And I'm going to use some of her arguments, but reconstruct them and make them stronger, because I feel at times she makes weak arguments whenever she doesn't have to, and it turns irrelevant, and then just people start to hate her, and then personal attacks. But anyway, here we go.
Speak to you directly, Gordon. So Gordon, one of the problems that I noticed that you have is you don't seem to understand the difference between food and animals. So food is something that you get out of the ground or you take it from a tree. It is something that doesn't have feelings, and it's something that's very healthy for us to eat. Now, animals are alive. They are sentient beings like us, like chickens and cows, sheep, pigs. You know, these things are not actually foods. So I think you really need a little lesson in sort of remembering about that. Now, surely you learned the animal names when you were younger. So just go back and review that. And from now on, it would be really great if you started to cook actual food and just let the animals live. All right?
So she's pretty much saying that meat is not real food and that Gordon Ramsay should actually cook real food. Well, first of all, if we were not supposed to eat animals, why the heck do they taste so good? I mean, if you haven't had a cheeseburger, you guys are missing out, alright? That's probably one of the best things to ever eat. And second of all, if animals are not food, why do other animals eat animals? Why aren't all these animals just eating lettuce?
Alright, so first I'm going to respond to that vegan teacher and say that argument doesn't really work. So, animals are food. Like, objectively, animals have, like, there's nutrition in their flesh, we can absorb it, that's a thing. The question isn't whether we can eat them, it's, you know, should we, if we don't have to, because we can also eat plants. So plants are alive. They're not sentient like an animal with a nervous system and feelings. And yeah, see, that's where the difference is. So I think just because the animals taste good and we can eat them doesn't mean that we should. I might taste good. You might be able to eat me. Should you? Yes, that is different. But it kind of makes sense. If you don't think that makes sense, comment down below. Let me know what your opinion is on what I just said respectfully. Alright, let's move on to the next video clip.
Eating animals is wrong, Gordon Ramsay. Hurting animals is wrong, Gordon Ramsay. Share this song, and if you call me a donut, that's fine.
Vegan donut.
You're vegan from now on.
Now, this right here was just the perfect response, alright? He called her a vegan donut and then just eats a burger.
Alright, so, well, no, I respectfully disagree. That is not the perfect response. Well, might be the perfect response for how that vegan teacher is kind of presenting the whole foundation of communication. As far as she, you know, she's just being patronizing and not really leaving room to hear out the other side. So Gordon Ramsay is kind of just rubbing it in her face and poking fun at her approach. But I think what would have been the best response is if both sides could have respectfully, like, actually had communication, thrown out their viewpoints, thrown out why they think the other side is weaker, and maybe actually gotten somewhere. I mean, come on, you'll know what I mean, right? So this video clip just kind of really captures the problem with, I mean, it's not even just vegans and non-vegans. It's all over the place on the internet. Just people attacking each other rather than tearing each other out, which is not what we're trying to do here. So, moving on to the next clip.
Be vegan because you're too weak. You know, it takes a strong person to be vegan because you just got to basically shut your mouth.
Listen, I've already said I eat a lot of, you could say vegan foods. I like a bit of meat in my diet every now and again. I like a bit of chicken breast. I like a bit of beef. I like a roast dinner. That's my choice, okay? I shouldn't have to be quiet. I shouldn't have to not exist because I've made a choice. I'm not saying you should leave the planet. Your followers do that for me. But because I have a different opinion from you, you're not adult and mature enough to say, okay, that's your choice. I believe it's wrong. I'm going to go and play my UK.
Okay, so obviously here, again, her approach, it's not leading anywhere constructive. My response to Daz would be, your choice has a consequence of taking somebody's life. And I think where we would disagree is seeing these animals as somebody rather than a product or a source of food. And that might be, you know, that vegan teacher's whole thing. She's trying to get people to see animals as somebody, but she's being very patronizing rather than just explaining her viewpoint and tearing out theirs. So yeah, moving on to the next clip.
There's so much I want to say that I can't say, but let me say this.
Please say it, please. You know, we're all here, we're all adults here, you know, say it.
Every minority group, and you know who you are. You should all be vegan.
Don't go down this road. Don't do it.
You've been discriminated against, and then you stand there with all your picket signs and in the streets, oh, you know, people are picking on us and we need our rights. And meanwhile, you are stabbing and eating animals.
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
It's bullshit. You cannot do that.
So we can't have Black Lives Matter, Gay Pride, nothing. We can only have animal rights parades. You're absolutely fine with those ones. Basic human rights that we fight for, it's not important because we eat chicken. That's what you're saying. People died for fight. World War II was to stop evil, to stop a minority. The Jewish people were being slaughtered. People have fought and died for human rights, and it matters, okay? You can't compare that to being vegan.
Alrighty, yeah. Whew. So, I think the point I would make here to Daz is it's definitely not about taking away, you know, like we should be out there supporting human rights. And honestly, I would prioritize that first. Like, for example, if my apartment was on fire and in one room there was a chicken, in one room there was a baby, I would try to save the baby first and then probably go back and save the chicken. But yeah, so it's not about seeing people as less beings. It says seeing animals as somebody. That's what I would say there. Just seeing animals as somebody with, you know, a right to life and to not suffer and things like that. And if you disagree, just let me know in the comment section down below. And yeah, that's it for today, y'all. Let's save the freaking planet, people! Woo!